Hi, Bel.
Hello.
And congratulations on winning the spiritual section.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us about the song.
In Time With You is a song I wrote a couple of years back. I live in a share house and I've got... one of my housemates back then had a dog as a pure husky, so a pure white husky, and just dumbest dog that ever lived. We'd go for walks in the park and the dog doesn't comprehend that there's a path that we want to stick to, and so it just complicates things because the dog's like sniffing things, you know, you're trying to drag the dog up, or it's running ahead and you're just being led wherever. And it just made me think I'm so much like that. Sometimes I know that God has a plan that's right for me, but I'm sometimes too scared to step out and do what I know is the right thing, or other times I'm just racing ahead with something without waiting to go, hang on, is this really the path that you want me on? So that's what I was thinking when I wrote that one. And also the fact that whenever the dog, there was this one time even that the dog got itself all caught up in the lead so much that all four legs couldn't even move. Like, I don't even know how it does it. And I just look at it and I just think, you are such an annoying dog. But my housemate who owns the dog just loves the dog. So she's like, oh, come on, princess, and gets down and unwraps her. And I think that is so much how God is like with me too. In the million wrong paths that I choose, is every time I stop and just and realize he's there going, come on, let's get you back on the path. And it's with that same kind of heart. So that's what I was thinking when I wrote the song In Time With You.
Right. So your music must have a functionary aspiration. When you write songs, you know, the message is for people to learn something from.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think because it always comes from things I've learnt,
yes.
So then I think you've got a responsibility in some way to pass
share
that
it.
along once, yeah.
Wow, you know. And you are active in your church, yeah. So what role does that play in your life?
Oh, that's huge. Like my church, in so many ways, when other things have been very, very shaky for me, my church family has been something, it's been a place where I can count on to be a rock, and it's people that have always encouraged me, even like in music and stuff like that, who are just cheering for me and are totally supportive. So when you're going out and doing, you know, a whole bunch of stuff in an industry that is difficult, it's, yeah, my church is the family that supports me, as well as being the place where obviously you can go to and get that guidance and a place where you can be still for a moment and stop and reflect and go, well, what's really important and what's God saying in this?
Right, okay. Now, you're quite an accomplished musician. You started playing piano at a young age. You've got a degree in music. Could you tell me about your lifelong journey with music and how it's developed for you?
Well, I'm not sure I'd use the word accomplished, but I did start piano when I was 6 and then started violin when I was 8 and then developed my obsession for the Beatles, which led to me taking up guitar when I was about 14, I think. And I think I started writing songs about that time when I was a teenager, and I remember actually at the time thinking, at some point in high school thinking, there's something wrong with me, because I don't know anyone else who does this, who just writes music. I would just get music coming into my head all the time, and I actually thought there was something wrong with me for a bit, because I was like, this is not normal. But luckily kept going with it, and had parents who were just pretty cruisy with whatever I wanted to do with my life, so they were pretty supportive, and that led me to doing a music degree, which was just such a great experience, and which led on to now pursuing music as a career.
Now, it sounded like you had some pretty good teachers there.
Yeah, had some great teachers at the con, people who had a lot of real life industry experience and who'd played with the big bands and worked with the big bands, so it was just fantastic. So one of my piano tutors was the piano player from Herman's Hermits, which was pretty cool, and Lisa Ryan, the vocal coach, has done everything, just like entertained troops in Vietnam, and, you know, from musicals in Australia, and just so much real life experience.
Yeah. It seems like it's more than just music that you got from them too.
Yeah, I think the thing about being surrounded by a bunch of other musicians and people who are living it is you can band together and get ideas of how to make it work. So the business side of things. The business side of things, and as well just being part of a community where you can make contacts and stuff is huge. Not being alone. Yeah.
And the songwriting course that you did at the con, what was that like?
That was fantastic. So a lot of the course was geared at becoming a better songwriter just through, for a lot of the time they left us on our own to just 16 hours a week in the studio, see what you come up with. You have to have at least 20 minutes by the end of the semester. But then there was guidance we did a songwriting course with Brian Cadd in third year.
What did you get out of that? Neat. I mean, he's one of the great Australian songwriters. He's been inducted in the Hall of Fame here a couple of years back.
It was fantastic. It was just fantastic to work with someone who's made it work. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, now I'd like to ask you about your songwriting process, how you put your songs together. Not so much the words, I'm more interested in the music aspect of it.
Well, for me, words and music, sometimes music comes first, sometimes words do. And the music, all I can say is it kind of comes. And I've learnt recently to not just leave it at that, to actually work at it, to actually process and make things better. I used to just be lazy and whatever came, that's the song. But in my latest album, I worked with a great producer, Caleb James, up in Brisbane, and he's got part of the songwriting credit on this, because what he did with my songs that I brought in was just said, okay, do that again. Do you think this hook line you could repeat? And just picked out certain things, and I really feel like I learnt through that to go, how can this song be better? How can I really develop it?
Yeah, great. What's coming up for you in the future?
Well, I've just finished a tour in regional Queensland and New South Wales, so I'm kind of, I'm in the...
Sitting on the beach.
Yeah, well, I wish. But I've got a tour in New Zealand coming up in January, so I've got to start organising that now, so there won't be too much sitting on the beach. And then next year, I haven't decided where I'm going to tour yet, but I've got a bunch of regional dates that are shaping up for next year as well, places like Bundaberg and Roma and around about. So we'll see. I'm really excited about next year, but I have no idea. Again, it's like that path. Going, God, where's the best place that you want me to be next year? And so we'll see. It's kind of a mystery.
What sort of venues do you play when you go on tour?
Well, when I do my original stuff, because it's definitely in the gospel market, I play like at churches and youth groups and that kind of stuff. When I'm in Brisbane, I've got an agent who sends me just to like resorts and hotels and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So you have a big repertoire of covers.
Yeah, and I do I enjoy playing those gigs in the nice venues. That's kind of fun. I've done my years in the dodgy venues, and I kind of feel like I've graduated from that. Yeah. But if they didn't pay me, I wouldn't do them, whereas the original stuff I would do even if they didn't pay me. Yeah. So I think that's the difference. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm really looking forward to your performance tonight.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you play.
Thank you.